Your AI just got a memory, not a fake memory, not a workaround. A real, persistent, project-level memory that syncs across tools, holds up to 600 of your own sources, and changes every conversation you have with Gemini from this point forward. This dropped 4 days ago. Most people scrolled past it. You are not going to want to. On April 8, 2026, Google quietly rolled out a feature inside the Gemini app that most people scrolled right past. No big launch event, no massive press coverage, just a new option sitting in your sidebar called Notebooks. And if you are one of the millions of people who uses Gemini for work, for content, for research, or really for anything, this is the update you have been waiting for without knowing it. Here's the problem that just got solved. Every time you opened Gemini before this, it forgot you existed. You would paste in your research, set the context, ask your question, and then close the tab. Tomorrow, gone. You were starting from scratch every single time. Your AI was brilliant, but had the memory of a goldfish. That ends now. And before we get into exactly what changed and what it means for how you work, there is one thing about this feature that almost no one is talking about, something buried in how it connects to another Google tool, that makes this twice as powerful as it looks on the surface. Stay with me, because we are going to get there. AI Profit Boardroom wants to help you actually use tools like Gemini Notebooks to save real time and automate the work that is slowing you down. If you have been looking for a way to build smarter workflows around AI, check out the AI Profit Boardroom. The link is in the description. It is built specifically for people who want to put tools like this to work right now, not 6 months from now. So what exactly is a Gemini Notebook? Think of it like a project folder, but the folder is also your coworker. You create a notebook, give it a name, and then you fill it with sources. PDFs, Google Drive files, website links, copied text, your own past chats, up to 600 sources in a single notebook, depending on your plan. And from that point forward, every conversation you have inside that notebook is grounded in everything you put in it. Gemini is not guessing anymore. It is working from your actual material. That is a fundamentally different kind of AI interaction. Before notebooks, Gemini knew everything about the world and nothing about you. Now it can know both. The feature is available on Google AI Plus, Pro, and Ultra plans. If you are on one of those tiers, you already have access. You will find it in the side panel inside the Gemini app, on Android, and on the web. Creating a notebook takes about 30 seconds. You name it, you add your sources, and you are in. But here's the first thing that surprised me when I actually dug into this: the sync. Gemini Notebooks connect bidirectionally with Notebook LM. If you have never used Notebook LM, it is Google's research tool that lets you talk to documents, generate summaries, and even create audio overviews of your source material. The two tools are now linked. Anything you add to a notebook in Gemini shows up in Notebook LM. Anything you do in Notebook LM flows back. One set of sources, two completely different ways to work with them. That is the thing almost no one is explaining properly. This is not just a chat organizer. It is a connected knowledge system that works across two powerful AI tools at the same time. Let me make this concrete. Say you are a content creator working on a video series about AI tools. You create a notebook called AI Video Research. You drop in your scripts, your competitor research, links to articles you want to reference, notes from your own past conversations. Now, inside Gemini, you can ask questions grounded in all of that material. Generate a script outline using your own research style. Draft talking points that match your previous videos. And then flip over to Notebook LM and generate an audio overview of your entire source library in minutes. Something you could use for a podcast version, a summary, or to brief a team member. That workflow used to take hours of juggling tabs, copy-pasting context, and re-explaining yourself to an AI that kept forgetting who you were. Now it is one notebook and two tools. Here's a real example of why this matters. Video creators have been using Notebook LM separately for about 2 years now, feeding it transcripts, research, and outlines to speed up production. The friction was always the setup time. Every project, rebuild from scratch. With bidirectional sync, that friction is gone. You build once. You use it everywhere. For anyone running a content operation, even a solo one, that is not a small thing. And it is not just creators who benefit here. Think about what this means if you are a small business owner. You could build a notebook around your entire product line, your pricing docs, your FAQs, your customer email history, your competitor research, and then use Gemini as a customer service brain that actually knows your business. Ask it to draft a reply to a tricky client email, and it will answer from your actual context, not from generic internet knowledge. That is a level of personalization that used to require a custom AI build costing thousands of dollars. Now it is a notebook you set up in an afternoon. Students are another group who should be paying very close attention to this. Imagine building a notebook for every course you are taking. Drop in your lecture notes, your textbook PDFs, your past essays, links to relevant papers. Then instead of doing a generic web search when you are stuck, you ask Gemini a question grounded entirely in your own course material. It is like having a tutor who has read everything your professor assigned and remembers all of it. That kind of focused, context-aware studying is genuinely new. It did not exist in this form 6 months ago. Now let us talk about custom instructions, because this is a piece most people skip right over, and it is actually one of the most powerful parts of the whole system. Inside each notebook, you can set custom instructions that tell Gemini how to behave specifically within that project. You can tell it to always write in a casual tone. Always keep answers under 200 words. Always reference sources before giving an opinion. Always write from the perspective of a marketing strategist. Whatever fits your project. This means every notebook is not just a knowledge base, it is a customized version of Gemini tuned exactly for that task. You are not working with a general-purpose AI anymore. You are working with a specialist you trained yourself. Think about that for a second. You could have one notebook that acts like a research analyst, another that acts like a copywriter, another that acts like a project manager, all running inside the same Gemini app, all drawing from different sets of sources, all behaving differently based on instructions you wrote once and never have to repeat again. That is not one AI tool. That is an entire team living inside a single app. Now for the honest part, because not everything about this is perfect and you deserve the full picture. First, the 600 source limit sounds generous until you are working on a big project with a lot of material. If you are a researcher, a heavy writer, or someone managing multiple content streams, you may hit the ceiling faster than you expect. Second, this is only available to paid subscribers. Free Gemini users do not have access to notebooks at launch. That is a real limitation for people who have been using Gemini on a free tier, and we're hoping this would be a universal upgrade. Third, the bidirectional sync with Notebook LM is powerful, but it does add a layer of complexity. If you have never used Notebook LM before, there is a small learning curve in understanding how the two tools relate. None of that makes this a bad feature. It makes it a feature you should understand before you jump in, so you can use it right. There is also a question worth sitting with around data and privacy. When you are feeding your business documents, your personal research, your client emails into a Google-powered notebook, you are trusting that ecosystem with a lot. Google has privacy policies in place, and AI Plus and Pro subscribers are under terms that restrict how that data is used for training. But it is worth reading the fine print if you are putting sensitive material in there. Be smart about what goes in. Not every document needs to live in a cloud-connected AI system. Some things are better kept local. That is not a reason to avoid notebooks. It is a reason to use them thoughtfully. Here is what you should actually think differently about after watching this. Most people have been treating AI assistants as reactive tools. You have a question, you ask it, you get an answer. That is one way to use AI. But notebooks point towards something else entirely. AI as a persistent collaborator that actually knows your projects, your style, your sources, and your history. That shift is not small. That is the difference between having a smart stranger answer your questions and having a colleague who has been working on this project with you for months. We are at the very beginning of that shift. Notebooks is not the end of this story. It is one early sign of where AI assistants are heading, towards something that knows you, not just the internet. And the reason this matters now, and not in a year, is simple. The people who figure out how to build good notebooks, good systems, good source libraries today, they are the ones who will have a genuine advantage when these tools get even more capable. You are not just learning a feature. You are building infrastructure. So here is my question for you. What is the one project in your life right now where having an AI that actually remembered everything about it would save you the most time? Drop that in the comments. I genuinely want to see what people are working on, because the answers are usually more creative than anything I would come up with. And if you want to see how this connects to the bigger picture of what Google is building with Gemini right now, the next video covers exactly that. It is the one I would watch immediately after this one. You started this video thinking Gemini Notebooks was a chat organizer. Now you know it is a memory system. That is not a small update. That is a different kind of AI. If you want the full playbook for using Gemini Notebooks inside a real workflow, including SOPs, templates, and 100+ AI use cases built around tools exactly like this one, join the AI Success Lab. It is a free community with over 67,000 members who are already putting this stuff to work. You will get all the notes from this video in there, plus access to the full library. Links are in the comments and the description. And if you are serious about making AI work for your business, not just your curiosity, the AI Profit Boardroom is where that happens. Learn how to save time and automate your business using tools like Gemini Notebooks, the way professionals are already doing it. Check the description, and we will see you inside.